What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is your man, Real Deal, Steele, coming to you live this Wednesday night. Happy hump evening, guys. Happy hump day, happy hump evening. Good to have you with us tonight. Welcome to another episode of Midnight Mass. My schedule's been particularly out of sorts lately, which is in part why I've been doing Midnight Mass. I actually did a morning show this morning that went pretty well, too. Pretty good turnout there as well. We had a good time. Definitely some different names when you do the morning show, different schedules, right? And that's the main reason why I have been doing morning shows sometimes, just to reach different people with different schedules as well. And it's a different vibe. It's cool. But welcome to Midnight Mass. It's great to see you guys. A lot of familiar names in the chat tonight. And who do we got active right now? We've got Audio Freak. We've got, by the way, happy birthday to Audio Freak. Happy birthday to you, man. Zombie Doge Army. We've got the Bass Fisher. We've got Keith Havens. We've got Mike Tracy 7-1. Marie Potter. Hello, Marie. Jeff Layfield. Josh Randell disavows. He disavows. Who else do we got in here? Am I missing anyone else that's at? Corey E, of course. Welcome, Corey E. Hector the Dude, yes. Alan Schneider, yes, indeed. Diamond Hands, baby. I think I've caught up on everyone that's active in the chat. RW, good to see ya. And Mary from New York. Mary from New York, mwah, we love Mary from New York. Thank you for starting things off with the $3 super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you for continued support of the show. Before we get started, if I could just ask you to hit that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help this channel out, and it's simple and easy to do. So thank you for that in advance. Also, if you're brand new here, I would like to personally welcome you to Steele Live. I'm Steele. We've got an awesome community here, and I want you to be a part of it. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And also, if you feel compelled to super chat anywhere throughout the duration of this broadcast, that's hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put in. And lastly, this is the last day you can take advantage of the WEBULL partnership for 5 free stocks when you sign up with an account with WEBULL. And I think that's valid through until noon tomorrow, folks. So if you haven't got on that yet and you've been thinking about it, you probably want to take care of that. It's an incredible deal. I recently partnered with WEBULL. WEBULL is a stock and crypto trading platform, and for a limited time, they are offering 5 free stocks. And people are also reporting $50 crypto credit additional to that. I can't say with absolute certainty, but if, a few different people told me they've gotten that additionally through my partnership link pinned at the top of the chat there. So. Anyway, got a cool show lined up for you tonight. Got a, we're just going to get down to it, boppers. We're going to get down to it, boppers. Reptile, good to see you in the mix. I don't know if I gave you a shout out before, my friend. But good to see you in the mix. So the media is still kind of vibing off of the GameStop now accepting Dogecoin. And this is huge news. This is news that I covered yesterday morning and evening. In a year which began with memes helping people propel GameStop's stock price into the stratosphere, it's only fitting that the shrinking video game retailers should cap it off by cozying up to cryptocurrencies. Last week, GameStop apparently joined Flexa. Flexa is the payment network third-party system. You know what's funny is when I read about this, I immediately took to Twitter and I said, breaking, GameStop to accept Dogecoin. And then Billy Marcus responded to me and he said, you mean via Flexa, right? And I said, yeah, but it just doesn't have the same charm if I were to tweet breaking, Dogecoin to be accepted by Flexa. GameStop to be accepting Flexa, right? It just wouldn't have the same charm or excitement to it. I think almost everyone, even well within the crypto space, would be like, what the heck is Flexa? And he agreed. That was amusing. And in fact, a few people made memes off of our little interaction there. That was pretty good stuff. So Dogecoin actually has been experiencing really high volume. Unfortunately, we haven't really seen it play out into the market price, but this is a very healthy sign, guys. And it's not just limited to Dogecoin. We did see a lot of high volume action with both Doge and Shiba Inu throughout the last 20 hours or so. And it did last where Doge got over 18 cents for a bit there. So it rose about a bit more than 3% over a 24-hour period. And why is this significant? Why is this significant? Well, typically when we see market volume moves to this degree, not always, folks, not always, but what often precedes it is something incredibly bullish. So what I'm saying is these very high volume waves that we've seen with both Dogecoin and SHIB over just this last day today could be interpreted as a very strong bull signal for what's coming down the pike in the near future here. Oftentimes that's the case. Will this be the case this time? I cannot be certain, but what I can tell you is that that's often the pattern. So we could see a pretty exciting Christmas weekend for Dogecoin, for cryptocurrency going forward. So yeah. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Beetlejuice from Howard Stern has his own crypto. Who doesn't have their own crypto at this point, folks? Who doesn't? That doesn't come as a surprise to me at all. Who doesn't at this point? Who freaking doesn't? It kind of reminds me of one of the stories I was going to get to a little later in the show, but it kind of reminds me, that comment kind of reminds me of it. So why don't we just bounce ahead to it, and we'll work our way back. And what is that story? Well, what's interesting is Radio Shack. Bringing up an article by The Verge. Zombie brand Radio Shack, yes, that Radio Shack, is launching a crypto market for the older generation. Radio Shack and Radio Shack alone can bridge the gap. Radio Shack, the vulnerable retailer, has relaunched as an online-focused brand in 2020, and it now wants to chart a future as a cryptocurrency exchange. Earlier this week, the company announced Radio Shack DeFi, a market where people can swap newly announced radio tokens, and an alternative to centralized exchanges like Coinbase. Moreover, Radio Shack insists that it's uniquely positioned to take cryptocurrency mainstream, claiming that Radio Shack and Radio Shack alone can bridge and cross the chasm of mainstream usage for cryptocurrency. Color me skeptical. Why? Why would Radio Shack be the one that's going to mainstream cryptocurrency to your mom and your papa? Let me go on to read a bit more of this, and I'll tell you more about what I know about it. Radio Shack's argument is that it's basically that it's, as a very old brand, it's primed to sell old CEOs on cryptocurrency. Too many cryptocurrency companies focused on speculation and not enough making the old school customer feel comfortable. The company's website states, claiming that the average decision-making corporate CEO is 68 years old. The older generation simply does not trust the newfangled ideas of Bitcoin youth, particularly not adults who are especially authoritarian, intelligent, and well-read. Its a parent company, Retail E-Commerce Ventures, also owns a variety of other brands. Now, they also own a variety of other brands, and listen to the other brands are Pier 1, Dress Barn, and a few others that they're not listed here, but I know they own a few others. Oh, Stein's was another one that I read about earlier. So I did a little more footwork into this Radio Shack rebranding of claiming to be the bridge that's going to bring more seasoned, old school, traditional investors into the cryptocurrency space and whatnot. And do you know who owns Radio Shack right now? Do you know who owns Radio Shack right now? I'll tell you, it's two guys, and the other guy's name eludes me right now. But the other guy's name is Tai Lopez. Yes, Tai Lopez, the internet marketing get-rich guy. Check out my Lambo, etc., etc. So Tai Lopez and one other guy went in together to purchase Radio Shack. And not only that, they also purchased Pier 1 Imports and Dress Barn and things like this. And what's interesting about it is, and I'm not even saying that this is destined to fail. I'm not saying that. I just think it's interesting. I think it's interesting. So basically, obviously, what happened here, when you look at chains like Pier 1 Imports and Dress Barn and Stein's, these are all kind of failing companies, right? These are all kind of failing companies that didn't have their mojo, and so that Tai Lopez and his other investor were able to capitalize on these stores and move in and buy them for cheap, including Radio Shack, right? Including Radio Shack. It's an interesting strategy. I have to say, anytime I hear Tai Lopez in the mix, I get a little squeamish. So essentially what this new platform is going to do, it's going to work with their other companies which they bought to kind of put up the appearance of impression of big adoption, right? Through these chain brands syncing up with the Radio Shack DeFi or whatever they're calling it, right? And of course they are launching their own cryptocurrency to go along with that. And it's pretty much a typical copy and paste kind of DeFi thing. I think you could do a lot better in that space as far as investments go. But that's just me. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the chat. 7-1 coming in with a $2 super chat. My nuts have this feeling that Doge is going up, is going to hit the rocket. 7-1, I hope for all of our sakes that your nuts are correct. Justin Simmons, haven't seen that name in here in a bit. Great to see you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. I got 215,000 Dogecoin and a ton of Sheeb. What chances do I got hitting $1 million? Oh, that's such a difficult question, man. I mean, I know that there's a lot of content creators that will indulge you and give you a definitive answer, right? And many of them probably would say yes. But I will tell you this. What I can tell you is what I know, and I can give you kind of a ballpark, okay? So it's my opinion that Dogecoin is going to prove to be a solid long-term hold for many reasons that I state here on this program night after night. Sheeb's kind of a wild card. It really came up in an extraordinary fashion where it pierced the top 10 a few times for a bit. Where's the future of Sheeb lie? I don't know. I do think that there's enough critical support there within its community to mitigate itself from total disaster, from a fallout. But where we're sitting right now, it also depends on when you bought in, right? What are your positions and when you bought in Dogecoin, when you bought in Sheeb? Now, are these very recent? Are these very recent purchases? That's another obvious question. But if you're asking me for financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. But if it was me in your shoes, I'd probably bounce a little bit of that Sheeb over to Doge, or I'd diversify it a little bit more. If not Doge, Bitcoin or Ethereum, like 25% of it, maybe 30%. That's just what I would do. And then I would long hold it from there. That's a theme that I find myself returning to over and over again on this program is, it's all risky, right? When it comes to cryptocurrency investments. But what we do know is that the overwhelming amount of people who end up doing really well through cryptocurrency have done so through investing in solid projects of high utility for a process of several years, right? So that's personally my strategy for the lion's share of my portfolio, is doing that. Okay, so 5 cents on Dogecoin, 6K sheep. Look, Justin, it's possible. Your positions are advantageous enough where you could become. Again, if it was me, this is just me. I'm not advising you what to do. I'm just saying if I was in your shoes, I'd peel off probably about 25-30% of my sheep. I'd reallocate it probably to Bitcoin or Ethereum, or even AVAX maybe. But if you want to even default to something more safe, I'd reallocate 25-30% of your sheep to Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then between those three, I'd let them ride long term. That's just what I would do. Take for what you will. But in my opinion, that would give someone the highest probability of getting close to the kinds, or even perhaps doing the kinds of numbers you're talking about there. Hope that's helpful for you. Diamond Hands Freddy coming in with a $10 make you holler. Appreciate that so much. Appreciate that, Diamond Hands Freddy. Great to have you in the mix, and thank you for that superhero super sticker from a super guy. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Are you guys all playing nice in the chat? You guys all playing nice? Be nice. All right. Let's go to the next story. So, just be careful. Just be careful with anything Tai Lopez is behind, guys. I don't think I have to tell you guys that, but you never know. I got a bright and cheery story next one up here. This mom quit her job to focus on crypto full-time and build generational wealth. Now she makes around $80,000 per month. That's some pretty good cake, isn't it? After more than a decade as a mortgage underwriter at the USAA, Brenda Gentry resigned in October of 21. Rather than continue in traditional finance, she pivoted to crypto full-time. Now Gentry runs a crypto consulting firm, which she launched after leaving her job. The San Antonio resident sees crypto as a way to accumulate and pass on generational wealth. She and her family are excited about the unprecedented opportunities offered by crypto. Gentry, 46, tells CNBC. Before going all in and leaving her steady 9-to-5, Gentry began investing in crypto during the lockdown of 2020. She started small but gradually began investing more. By early 2021, she had garnered substantial returns. My investment portfolio surpassed my 401k and had taken 11 years to get to, which took 11 years to get to 200k in 6 months. She acknowledged that cryptocurrency is a risky investment, but her experience in finance and process and due diligence helps her feel comfortable investing in the space. Now Gentry is widely known as Crypto Mom Online. And she's got 2 daughters. Her firm advises DeFi and NFT projects. Gentry typically makes between 10 and 20 ETH, which is around 40 to 80 K from the business each month. In comparison, she made about 75K annually on her past job. Now, this is interesting. That's an interesting fact. Did you catch that last one? So she making the article goes on to say that she's making 80K a month off cryptocurrency, but how is she making it? Is she making, and because later in the article it says she's making 40 to 80K in ETH a month from the consulting, the crypto consulting firm. That's an important distinction, isn't it? That's an important distinction. And it doesn't seem to be one that's cleared up in this article. Okay, that is what's going on here. That's interesting because that's not the impression you get when you first read the article, right? So, I mean, more power to this lady. She's obviously an aggressive marketing boss, right? But we're not talking about someone that's clocking $80K a month on crypto investments, and she only started investing last year. We're talking about someone that's clocking in $80K through a crypto consulting firm. Folks, I would like to announce tonight, Steele Crypto Consulting. I'm going in a new direction. I don't know. I just felt inspired. Hey, fake it till you make it. I don't know. I think it's funny. Yeah, she's making her money consulting, Humpteasy. Yes. Esteban, good to see you in the mix. All right, let's get to the next story. I've had enough of that one. It's still an impressive story, but not quite in the way that I initially assumed. Fox Business reports Elon Musk continues to rip Elizabeth Warren after Twitter spat. If you could die by irony, she'd be dead. Oh, God. She struck first, obviously, he said in a recent interview. She called me a freeloader and a grifter who doesn't pay taxes, basically, Musk said of Warren in an interview with the satirical website Babylon Bee. I'm literally paying the most taxes of any individual in history has ever paid this year, ever, and she doesn't pay taxes, basically. Her salary is paid for by the taxpayer like me. If you could die by irony, she would be dead. Oh my goodness. He also took a jab at CNN during the interview, saying he's not perverted enough to appear on the network. Elon is just taking the world by storm lately. I've been talking so much about Elon Musk night after night lately. I know it's been a very Elon-laden, Elon-centric programming here lately, but how can you not? He's just been serving them up like T-balls, guys. He's just been serving them up. He's just so many zingers. He's just been giving us zingers a mile a minute. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of interesting, funny stuff to talk about. Why would he say that, right? Well, longtime CNN producer John Griffith was fired this month and arrested by the FBI for doing things he shouldn't have done in that regard. And it's not the first person to go down in that regard on that network. So it's just, Elon, man. Elon is clapping back, to put it mildly. Erectile Reptile coming in, putting some pep in my step. $20 super chat. Thank you for that, Erectile. Steven, what are your plans for Christmas? Fact. While you sleep, you can't smell anything. Even really, really bad or potent smells. Now, that I didn't know. That I did not know, my friend. That is pretty wild. And actually could be very dangerous. Think about it. What if your house is on fire? What if you're burning the holiday turkey? What are my plans for Christmas? I'm going to mosey on down to see my my family. That's what I'm doing. Keeping it simple, keeping it quaint. That's what I'll be doing. Will I be doing a show on the Christmas night? I don't know. I'm going to try. I think so. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. The challenge for me this year, because of my crazy health issues over this last year, I got to stay away from the bad stuff. I got to stay away from the pies. I got to stay away from the cookies. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. My brief Bill O'Reilly right there. Next story, CNBC. From a Bitcoin crash to regulatory crackdowns, analysts give their top predictions for crypto in 2021 or in 2022. That would be very impressive, would it? If analysts gave their top predictions for 2021. Wow. What accuracy. So what are these predictions? What are these predictions? Some experts believe crypto is due for a sharp decline in coming months. The cryptocurrency surged to a record high of almost 69,000 in November. Now it's sitting just below 50K, down from almost 30% of its peak. Wall Street Wisdom defines bear markets as a decline of 20% or more from recent highs, but it's worth noting Bitcoin is notorious for its volatility. Carol Alexander, professor of finance at Sussex University, said she expects Bitcoin to tank to as low as 10K in 2022, virtually wiping out all gains of the past year and a half. If I were an investor now, I would think about coming out of Bitcoin soon because it will probably crash next year. Alexander says her bearish call hinges on the notion that Bitcoin has no fundamental value and serves as more of a toy than investment. Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this? I mean, where do you start? It makes me wonder what you'd say about dog money, right? That actually has really strong utility. By the way, if you want to watch a show that really lays heavily into the merits of Dogecoin as it relates to its utility, last night's show was a doozy for that. Peter Wake, good to see you. Peter says, I don't know how I made 3.4 ETH for having registered an ENS domain in April. Wow, smart play, Peter. It's nice when you can wake up to gains like that, isn't it? It's nice. Anyway, just to calm you guys down, I don't think that Bitcoin is going to 10K in 2022. It sounds almost like that's a more bearish prediction than Peter Schiff, man. And Peter Schiff, that is a guy that is a literal gold manufacturer that wakes up every day screaming at Bitcoin in the sky. Alexandria Award of History repeated itself in 2018. Bitcoin tumbled close to 3,000 after climbing to a high of nearly 20K a few months earlier. There are many factors, though. There are many factors that we have come into play since then. To compare what happened in 2017 to what's happening right now, it's kind of apples to oranges when you consider how much notoriety, how much adoption, and how much popularity and acceptance has come through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency since 2017. It's immeasurable. It's immeasurable. There's literally, the Staples Center is literally now called the Crypto Center. It's literally named after Crow. We're not going back. So, but it doesn't surprise me that a mainstream news outlet would be giving a lot of airtime to people with these sort of sentiments. One thing they do talk about, I was kind of scanning through the rest of predictions, and I just don't even care to go through the rest of them. But I will say they do raise a good point about regulation. So this is going to be a big year on the regulatory front, guys. We've been seeing regulators flex their muscles a lot more lately. Most notably China, who's completely banning all crypto-related activities. And U.S. authorities are cracking down. I think it's to a certain degree, within a certain degree, I'm in favor of it. But we do have one main thing protecting us crypto investors in the United States, and that is our government's love of money, our money, most notably. So they are not, I believe that they are not going to super heavily regulate the crypto market simply because they don't want to leave all that tax money on the table. They don't want to heavily, significantly deter and scare investors out of the space. Somewhat they will, but I don't think it's going to be super severe. They want that money. They want that money. And so in a sense, the thing that we despise most about investing, which is the tax part of it, is the thing that's going to protect us here in the States. And I imagine it's probably going to be that way throughout much of Europe as well. Peter says the fact that my mom knows what Dogecoin is bullish AF. Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, we have parents and grandparents knowing what Bitcoin is, knowing what Dogecoin is, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's just get to the next story. This one comes courtesy of the Coin Telegraph. Biggest NFT drops in sales of 2021. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready? I'm sure you can guess. Most of the main ones already. So here are the biggest NFT collection winners of this last year. CryptoPunks, of course. CryptoPunks are the OG of NFTs, according to DApp Radar. A collection launched back in 2017. Before the ERC 721 NFT standard existed, Larva Labs released all 10,000 punks for free to Ethereum users, and since then, CryptoPunks' popularity and value on the secondary market have boomed. In June of 2021, an alien punk sold on Sotheby's, I remember this, for almost $12 million. Visa acquired a $150,000 CryptoPunk for its corporate collection. That's funny. Would you like to take a look at our corporate collection? Check out this CryptoPunk. Brought to you by Visa. Bored Ape Yacht Club, of course. You knew that was coming. BAYC. Maybe I should make a knockoff called BYAC. Bring your... I don't know what the A would stand for. Bring your Apple Club. Well, of course, Bored Ape Yacht Club's going to be on there. Courtesy of Yuga Labs. Do we really need to talk about Bored Ape Yacht Club anymore? WEBULL, of course, is on the list. Good grief. Remember when he did that auction house in Christie's that sold for almost $70 million? And that was WEBULL's Every Days. It was his first 5,000 days in a collage. Sold for $70 million. It's a good way to make a living, folks. Axie Infinity. NBA Top Shot. You know what's really big on NBA Top Shot that I haven't had on the program in a long time is Stain Alpha. Remember Stain Alpha? You know, I used to mix it up. He's a cool guy. We just haven't connected a long time because he took his content in a much different direction. He mostly focuses on NFTs and OMI and stuff like that, which is cool. But I know he was deeply entrenched in NBA Top Shots right out of the gate. And another big NFT winner of this last year is VeeFriends, courtesy of Gary V. Hey guys, you ever heard of Gary V? Have you heard of Gary V? You just gotta get up. You gotta drink your coffee. And spend 22 hours a day on social media. building your empire. Fluff World. Yes, Fluff World is also listed as one of the biggest winners of the NFT marketplace in 2021. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know about Fluff World. Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean. J2 hoverboards and jetpacks. This is a project I've seen and heard about. Oh, yeah, and RTFKT Studios, which Nike owns now. I'm good on that. And those are the biggest wieners of 2021 in the NFT space. Those are the biggest wieners of 2021 in the NFT space. Congraturitos. Congraturitos to every person involved on that list. Every company involved in that list. Cointelegraph reports Bitcoin nears 50K. Here are the Bitcoin price levels to watch next. And what are those Bitcoin levels to watch next, guys? $50.5 and $51.5. All top technical analysis are saying. So basically they're saying, to break it down, is things will get really bullish once we get to 50.5. And actually, that was almost accomplished within the last day and a half. And this seems to be the conclusion of a lot of people right now. So things can get wild style pretty quickly, because 50.5 is very attainable for Bitcoin in the very near future. And this could trigger a bull run pretty significantly. Pretty significantly. You know, there's such a strong constituting psychological resistance right around 50K that once that gets burst, once it bursts through there, it really frees things up and changes the game. The game of the mind. The game of the mind within the market. And so I would agree with that. I would agree with that general sentiment and conclusion going on there. Sure. What's going on in the world? What's going on in the world? I'll tell you what. CoinDesk reporting Jack Dorsey goes on unfollowing frenzy after Web3 beef. It sounds intense, doesn't it? It sounds really intense. You guys, when I make love in the forest, it's actually intense. Jack Dorsey goes on an unfollowing frenzy. That does sound very intense. Until you think about what an unfollowing frenzy actually looks like. You know what an unfollowing frenzy actually looks like? It looks like this. There's your unfollowing frenzy, guys. The visual of what an unfollowing frenzy is, isn't that epic, is it? Anyway, who did Jack Dorsey unfollow today? He unfollowed Mark Anderson, Brian Armstrong, and Tyler Winklevoss of Winklevoss Twins fame. Arguably the original founders of Facebook. Mr. Winklevoss. How could you unfollow Mr. Winklevoss? But beyond Twitter drama, the Block Inc. CEO Jack Dorsey's public sparring with venture capitalists over Web3 serves as a proxy for a long-running debate. Not only about which cryptocurrencies are best, but what they're good for. So, it's interesting, because both Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk have been kind of ribbing on the concept of Web3 lately. I just think it's funny. I just like watching it. But, that's really rubbed some people the wrong way. Some people feel very passionately about Web3. I'm just kind of standing by watching the evolution of it. I honestly don't have super strong feelings about it one way or the other at this time. But that caused Jack Dorsey to go on an unfollowing spree. So it's kind of funny to see the former CEO of Twitter getting beefs like so many other people do on Twitter, to the point where he starts unfollowing people. It really humanizes it, doesn't it? It really humanizes it. Maybe Mr. Dorsey should be subject to the same stringent whims as the rest of us. Use the wrong word. Permanent shadow ban. Goodbye, everything you built. Just in a split second. Right? Doesn't matter the context. You know how that story goes. You know, baby. You know how that story goes. Next story here. Did you guys know that there is a massive dog food shortage? I really didn't until a couple days ago. Daily Wire reports a dog-eat-dog economy. See what they did there? That's very punny. Pet food shortage hits United States. Thanks to the national supply chain, the bottlenecks and labor shortages, American pet owners are having a rough time finding pet food. Ha ha ha! It's so corny. I love it, though. I love it. Pet owners are having a rough time. According to the Wall Street Journal, shortages of labor, raw materials, and transportation are crimping the human food supply, from beverages to snacks. I guess I knew that. But I didn't know how specifically it was affecting the pet food industry. So pet food sales at supermarkets grew 7% over the last 50 weeks, compared to 2.3% for overall. So it's almost the inflationary rate on pet food is almost triple what it has been on the rest of the food in grocery stores. So that's very significant. Although nominal wages are rising, price levels are rising faster. The Bureau of Labor Statistics recently stated that the average hourly earnings, a metric that considers the impact of inflation on purchasing power, fell by 0.4% between October and November. Through nominal average hourly earnings rose by 0.3%. The effects were overshadowed by a 0.8 increase in consumer prices. That's rough stuff. I give that news 2 paws down. All right, guys. All right. Next story. I gotta be honest with you, this is kind of a weird news cycle. For the stuff that we talk about in here, it's a weird news cycle. So sometimes you just gotta roll with it, guys. You just gotta roll with it. Okay. Let's get to a fun one. The top 10 odd news stories of 2021. This is some good stuff. There's some wild ones in here. So get ready for this, guys. Get ready for this. Where's Donna Tabuki, by the way? She's a mama. She's probably busy with the holiday preppings and all those kind of things. Let's see. Are you ready for the top 10 odd news stories of 2021? Here we go. Boy, 12 years old, breaks Guinness Book of Records with Star Wars Lego set. Hayden Haste, 12 years old, of Louisville, Kentucky, earned a Guinness World Record when he assembled the Millennium Falcon microfighter kit in 1 minute. Is that really, should that really be in the top 10 stories of 2021? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's cool and good for the kid. Sorry, my Doge down here, sometimes she gets, starts making noise when she's not getting enough attention. I hear you. Calm down. Calm down, Rems. But does this really qualify You know, I hope this list gets better because I remember glancing over it before, and I remember seeing much more interesting things than this. Let's hope this list gets more interesting. No disrespect to the young man, that's quite an achievement, but well, hello. What's going on? What's going on, Rem? Ooh, she's excited. She's excited, guys. Okay, let's proceed through this list. Pardon me, a little bit of extra noise going on here. How about this? Alligator spotted. Remy, my goodness. Alligator spotted swimming in Massachusetts River. Joseph Madison of West Springfield, Massachusetts, was walking around the Connecticut River in August when he snapped a photo of an unusual non-native animal, an alligator. I guess it's a little bit better than the kid breaking the speedy Lego record, right? I guess it's a little bit better. Let's keep moving down the list. I want something even better than that. Yeah, Remy's very restless right now. Remy's very restless. This one's actually a good one. This one's a really good one. Get this. This sounds like they're going to have to make a movie out of this. They're going to have to make a movie out of this next one. Get this. Teenage friends split scratch-off lottery ticket and win $3 million. Tennessee friends Wyatt Close and Brandon Thompson, both 19, said they stopped at a local Quick Trip store where Close talked Thompson into going in 50-50 on scratch-off lottery tickets. Close told the Tennessee lottery officials the store turned out not to have the tickets he wanted, so he selected 2 Jumbo Bucks titanium instant tickets and the friends to split the cost. Then they realized they scored a $3 million jackpot from one of the tickets and said they would split the money evenly. The teenagers said their winnings would go towards saving, investing, and building new homes. Well, that's very responsible. Much more responsible answer that I would have given if I would have came across $1.5 million in lottery winnings at the age of 19. These are some very well-adjusted youngsters. Imagine if you won $1.5 million off scratch-offs at the local Quickie Mart. What kind of answer would first bestow upon you? Let me read that again. The teenagers said their winnings would go towards saving, investing, and building new homes. That's unbelievably responsible. That's unbelievably responsible. Now, this next one's a real doozy, guys. This next one's a real doozy. If you're eating, I'm giving you a warning right now. Testicle bath birth control device earns Germany's Dyson Prize. Yes, I'm not making this up. Officials with the James Dyson Award, which celebrates, encourages, and inspires the designers of new problem-solving ideas in a variety of countries, said Germany's 2021 award was given to Rebecca Weiss, an industrial design graduate from the University of Munich, the inventor of Kozo male birth control device. The Kozo uses an ultrasound testicle bath to temporarily stop sperm mobility. The device only needs to be used every few months to keep it intact and to prevent eggs from being fertilized during the deed. Well, congraturitos. That, I don't know how many people actually practice this in real life if they're going to have to indulge themselves in testicle baths. Okay, let's see. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we are going over the top 10 odd news stories of 2021 according to UPI. Maine Lobsterman finds ultra-rare cotton candy lobster. A cotton candy lobster. A Maine lobsterman made a 1 in 100 million discovery when he found a lobster with an extremely rare cotton candy color scheme in early November. So it's like it's a lobster that's kind of a bright pink hue. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Top 10, maybe. To me, that's like a top 20. That's a top 20. But it's still pretty cool. Next one. Sam Adams' latest potent beer is illegal in 15 states. Boston brewer Sam Adams released the 12th version of its Utopias brand, which rolls out every 2 years, on October 11th. And the beer proved notable for more than just its price tag. $240. What? $240 for a 25.4 ounce bottle. The brewery said the beer is 28% alcohol by volume, making it illegal to sell in Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Idaho, and the list goes on. A bottle of Utopias autographed by Sam Adams founder Jim Koch, we'll pronounce it that way for obvious reasons, and the crew of the Inspiration 4 civilian tourist mission to space was auctioned to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. That's cool. They're giving it to the signed copies of that beer to a charity. Wow, they got the Inspiration 4 to sign that. This is super random. That's a serious... that's way too potent, man. It's almost the 30% alcohol ratio. Next one. Woman wins $2 million from a lottery ticket she received as a gift. Wow. Imagine you being the person that gifted that woman the $2 million lottery ticket. Karen Sandras of Charlotte, North Carolina, collected a $2 million lottery jackpot in July, and she told North Carolina education lottery officials she hadn't actually paid for the $20 scratch-off. Sanders said the 100x, the cash scratch-off ticket, had been a gift from a family friend who bought the ticket at a food mart in Stanley. The ticket earned her a $2 million jackpot. I couldn't believe it, honestly, she recalled. You read it and you still don't believe it. What would you guys do? What would you guys do if you gifted someone a $2 million lottery ticket? I don't know. Would you say something? Would you think that you were owed any of that $2 million? Technically, you can't say anything. I'll tell you what I would do if I was the recipient of a $2 million lottery ticket that someone gifted to me. I'd give him a pretty. I'd probably break him off. I'd definitely break him off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I definitely would. I'm saying like 30%, 25-30% they're getting from me. I couldn't in good conscience if a family friend bought me a lottery ticket that turned into a $2 million winner and not give them anything. That's cold, man. That is cold. Athlete known as the Dutch Giant named the world's tallest bodybuilder. How tall is this guy, you may be asking yourself? He's 7 feet 2 inches tall. That is tall. And I say this as someone who's about 6'3". I'm closer to 6'2". Wow, so that's a whole foot. That's a whole 12 inches taller than me, man. Yeah, I guess that's interesting. Now, last story for the oddest news stories of the year. Man credits a $100,000 lottery win to a little voice inside his head. Nolan Steele, 78 years old, of Maryland, said he was preparing to leave the High's store in Carroll County when a voice inside his head told him to turn around and scratch off lottery ticket. I don't know where it came from, Steele said of the voice. Wow, his last name is Steele, spelled just like Stephen Steele. Man, maybe I should start listening to the little voices inside my head. But I'm sure glad I listened to it. Steele selected a $10 Willy Wonka golden ticket game, which earned him a $100,000 prize. I have to say, this top 10 list of the oddest news stories of the year, it definitely had some quirks. We definitely went through some things together, didn't we? But overall, were these really the oddest stories? Really the oddest stories? Who wrote this thing? Ben Hooper. Ben Hooper wrote it. Ben, I feel like Ben was like streaming Netflix, trying to like casually pound this one out. Not the most remarkable list, but I think the testicle bath was the one that took it all. That one took the cake. That definitely deserved to be up there, for sure. All right, guys. So Elon Musk says he lives in a $50,000 house. He doesn't talk about the Austin mansion. The world's richest man, who said last year he was selling physical possessions, has been living in a billionaire's friend's estate and shopping for his own Texas palace. The Wall Street Journal reports in the smear piece. So basically the story is Elon's crashing with a friend sometimes. Who cares? This is such a nothing burger. Let's see. Doge is trading sideways at 17, about 17 and a half cents. It's pretty indicative of how the whole market's going, gang. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Jason Huffman, woohoo, late, but I made it. How's it going? Good to see you in the mix. Better late than never, my friend. Always great to see Jason Huffman in the mix. 7-1 says, guess can't sell Leinenkugels outside of the Wisco Disco. Weird laws. No Teslas here either. Really? No Tesla dealers there? Is that true? Oh, the fake lottery ticket thing. That is a mean thing to do. To someone. That is cruel and unusual, man. That is mean, man. That is cold stuff. Cold-hearted stuff. So, what can we expect going into the weekend, folks? Well, if Bitcoin makes it to 50.5, which it very well could, I think things could get really bullish really quickly. So, I would definitely leave it on the table of decent probability for the market to look and turn more bullish throughout the holiday weekend, throughout the Christmas weekend. Jason Huffman coming in with a $5 make you holler. Hype, pump it up. I love it. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You know, at the end of the day, guys, we are all wieners. Yep. So, I would agree with a lot of the technical analysis that's going on right now in relation to Bitcoin. And, you know, we are still in a Bitcoin dominant market, so where goes Bitcoin goes the rest. Now, I do think that a lot of what's happening right now in this unremarkable market phase, I think it's going to shake out a lot of weak projects. I think it's going to shake out a lot of SHIT coins that will not recover from this. As Joe Exotic once says, I don't know how ever financially recover. Jason Huffman coming in with a $10 super chat. Spinning hippos. I love it. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for helping keep the lights on over here at Steele HQ. Very much appreciate it. Yeah. Jason coming in again with another $10 make you holler. I love it. You know, as we head into the new year, and as mass adoption really starts to continue to take hold, particularly throughout corporate America, etc., the other shoe is eventually really going to drop, and we're already partially starting to see it now, right? Where people are in much higher positions of power to make these sorts of decisions are realizing that Bitcoin's not this huge, incredible asset that they were sold that it was going to be in terms of something to be used practically for most people in the retail space. That's not coming. That's not going to happen. Now, that's going to cause a tremendous opportunity for a digital currency, where that will be the case. And Dogecoin has made such an incredible, huge, historic name for itself over this last year. It's the likes of which we've never seen before in terms of branding, recognizability, branding. Oh, I was going to say recognizability. That's not a word. Branding recognition. Branding recognition. To the likes of we've never seen before. Now, people are understanding this now, particularly since the richest man in the world has been making a point of repeating this over and over again, that Dogecoin is faster and cheaper than both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and is perfectly and most uniquely positioned to be literally the most transaction digital currency on the planet. I think there's a high probability that 2022 could very well be the year that realization dawns on the masses, and that we see a market shift that reflects that. Jason Upwood coming in, making it rain up in here with another $10 to make you holler. That hippo was just got wrecked. That actually happened to me. I was sitting on a dining room chair that happened to me. I was leaning back on it, but I was just leaning back just a smidge, and I was the straw that broke that camel's back, and I got wrecked just like that hippo got wrecked right there. Oh man. You know what's interesting too, guys, is it reminds me, when I was a very young man, one of the more embarrassing things that ever happened to me. I was on a date with this young lady, and we were in the park, and we were on swings. We were swinging in the park. It was very quaint. It was very nice. And it was the daytime. And a lot of people were running around the park, and we were swinging. And she jumped off the swing. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go a little bit higher and pump the swing even harder, and then jump off my swing. And so when I jumped off my swing, I heard this tear. It went whack. And my shorts came off with the swing. So what happened was my belt loop in my shorts got wrapped around like one of the chain links, one of the main chain links in the seating of the swing, and it tore my shorts straight off in broad daylight at the park. And there I was, just in my boxer shorts. And fortunately, she just erupted into laughter, like who freaking wouldn't? And a few other folks that were looking on saw it as well. I remember, like, at first, like, laughing, like, awkwardly. And then it didn't. Then it's the full realization of what happened really hit me when I was in my car, when we walked back to my car. Then I started laughing, like, super hard. Super hard. And that girl was kind of crazy. Her name was Sabrina. That was my girlfriend at the time. I was like 19 years of age. And she had like a shrine. I think I told you guys that story one other time. She had a shrine, like a witchcraft shrine with pictures of me around it. It was, I wasn't meant to see it, but I was in her house one day and I saw it, and I was like, I think this is the beginning of the end of us. Steven Steele, what instrument do you play? I'm thinking about selling my OG Steinberg. So I don't play guitar. I'm an awful guitarist. I can play well enough to get parts down and record them and loop them, but I am not a good guitarist. I play keys. I play synthesizers. I'm a singer. I write a lot of stuff electronically. I play some bass. I play some drums. I will say this: I'm not brilliant at any one instrument. I'm not a super good. Technically, I'm not a super great musician at any one instrument. My gift is in songwriting and songcraft. So I can compose and composition and arrangement. I just play a little bit of everything, and then I take it to the studio to re-record things and work with studio musicians to replay the parts better than I initially played them. And I actually have a new single coming out. I'm working on it right now. I'm just waiting for the graphic design, but it's going to be called Population, and it's by Ice Island, and it sounds really, really good. It sounds really good. It turned out better than I was anticipating. Steven's YouTube started in February. Man, does time fly. Has it been that long, Jason? It's been almost a year. Time flies when you're having fun, folks. Time flies when you're having fun. But I could never get the hang of guitar because I just don't have the dexterity coordination to really exceed as a solid guitarist. That's why bass, anything I can kind of almost thump as a rhythm instrument, comes more naturally for me, whether it's bass or whether it's drums or whether it's keys. But you get into the guitar stuff, nah. It's just not in the cards for me. Tesla are blocked from opening licensed sales locations in Wisconsin. That is ridiculous. Who's responsible for those sort of laws? That's so stupid. That's so silly. All right, cool. I will check it out. 7-1. You know what's kind of pretty cheesy but pretty good Christmas music is Mannheim Steamroller. Elon tweet about Doge. Let's check it out. Thank you for the update, Erectile Reptile. Let's get down to it, Poppers. What did Elon tweet out? I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. There we have it. 1 minute ago, he's responding to Billy Marcus. There's a, holy cow, huge major news here, guys. Major breaking news. There's a conversation going about the merits of, hold on. I got to respond real quick by tweet here. Just give me a second. Doge is, I'm going to say, Doge is much cheaper in transaction fees and much faster in transaction times than both ETH and BTC. It's perfectly fit to be a massively used digital currency in the retail space. Okay, we got it here. Okay, now back to what's going on here, guys. Now that I got this tweet response out to Elon, what has transpired? I'm going through this thread right now. Some very, very big names. So this started with a... Remember I was telling you about how both Elon and Jack have been debating the merits of Web3 with some top names in the NFT space, pretty much. And so that's what they're doing. They're having kind of a debate about that. Now, Jack said, I only care about decentralized, secure, private foundations without single points of failure, and I'm focused on that. And Jack says, I'm not anti-ETH, I'm anti-centralized, VC-owned single point of failure, and corporate control that lies. If your goal is anti-establishment, I promise it isn't Ethereum. Wow. Don't believe or trust me, just look at the fundamentals. Billy Marcus responds directly to Jack and says, I mean, my goal is to build stuff and make money and have fun. I'm used to the corporate establishment and don't really see any meaningful break from it. But Bitcoin just gives power to new rich people. So he's kind of pointing out the hypocrisy there. And then Elon weighs in after that with this conversation between these folks. Elon just weighs in to both Billy and Jack and says, that's why I'm pro Doge. That's why I'm pro Doge, guys. And I will link you to my response to Elon just now if you want to take a look at that. Elon and Billy watching the show, maybe Elon. Yeah, this is... Seven One says it's the Steele effect. It's the Steven Steele effect. This is wild, wild stuff, you guys. This is breaking news. This just happened 4 minutes ago now. 4 minutes ago. Elon Musk responding to both Jack and Billy Marcus. That's why I'm pro Doge. That's why I'm pro Doge. Massive, massive here. Elon Musk continuing to be a stalwart voice for the dog money and doing it front and center in a face-off, so to speak, in a Twitter face-off with Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey. Just wild, wild stuff, guys. Wild stuff. So that is incredible. That is incredible. You know, you never know what happens here. That's one big advantage about broadcasting late. And for those of you in my earlier days of content, it would not be what's the word? Uncommon for me to stream well into the twilight night. Do you guys remember those long streams? Sometimes I would do them. Now that's when that was also back when Doge was trading more vibrantly, should we say, more dynamically, right? But it was also worth a lot less than it is now. But my point being is, it wasn't very uncommon for me to be streaming upwards of 3, 4 in the morning. And one of the good things about streaming this late, you guys, is that's when Elon usually tweets his best and spiciest stuff. Kyle says, incoming, Doge has no use case, Doge has no dev comments. Yeah, no kidding, right? And that's one of the reasons why we do what we do, right? To correct the record there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But this is great. This is big news. This is going to be in the news tomorrow. You better believe it's going to be in the news tomorrow. Because look at how much. If right now, if you were to Google Jack Dorsey and Web3, there are a ton of stories about Jack debating the merits of Web3. This has really just completely swept the curiosity of the mainstream media. I think a big reason why is because Jack has been very subdued as a CEO, and he has to be a lot more mindful about how he engages on Twitter. And now that he's stepped down as CEO, he feels much more free to let loose and express himself more freely. And so I think that's the dynamic, because people aren't used to hearing these sorts of things from Jack. Now, what do you think they're going to do with this conversation? And now that Elon weighs in, that's why I'm pro Doge. Amazing. And Billy kind of plays a role in this, right? Both Billy and Elon have seemed to really continually build a stronger kind of connection and appreciation for each other. And to the point now where it's not a day goes by now wherein Elon and Billy aren't interacting on Twitter. At first it was just like here and there. And then it moved, then it graduated. I remember the day, not in the not so distant past, wherein Elon followed Billy on Twitter. And now it's like a daily back and forth thing between them. It's really fun to see. It's really fun to see. Let's see what's going on. Larry Ramirez, yeah, I remember there was always breaking news and late night tweets from Elon that would make us rocket. It always happened when you were live. Yes, yes. Do you remember that? Do you remember when a Doge laden tweet from Elon would just make Doge like rocket? Those days are long gone. Those days are long gone. But those were so much fun. Those were so much fun. Let me refresh the chart to make sure we are up to date here. Yeah, so we do see, if we look here on the chart, guys, and keep in mind this is a 15-minuter, so it still had an impact on the market, not super significantly, but this big green weenie here is a consequence, is on the exact same timeline of when Elon tweeted that. So let's go to the 5-minuter and see what we're looking at. So here we go with some healthy retracement after this big green weenie here. And now we've got another green candle just starting to bud there. We'll see how it transpires from there. But yeah, it still does have effect, but not as massive as effect as it had back in the day. But it's still cool to see. Elon is always on with the tweets. It's very telling. Yeah, this... I used to call the show Doge After Dark because I only broadcasted exclusively late nights, and now I've expanded the show to not just include Dogecoin but a variety of topical things as well. So that's why the name change. And plus, I don't only broadcast late nights anymore. But yeah, those were fun days. Those were fun days. We had a lot of fun, didn't we? Let me make sure the chart is lined up all right on the... Nope, it's not. Sorry about that. Let me get the chart more proportioned here. Sorry about that. There we go. There we go. Now you guys can see what's going on better. Here we go. So... let's see what's going on here. This tweet is absolutely blowing up right now. Elon Musk has already hit 4K in 10 minutes on That's Why I Am Pro Doge. 4K in 10 minutes on That's Why I'm Pro Doge. Just incredible, guys. Just incredible. Over 1,069 retweets. You can't make that up, folks. Right now, that's why I'm Pro Doge. Now it's 173, but we saw that 69 in just a moment in time. But this tweet is rocketing, just like our beloved Dog Money will be doing eventually, right? Doge After Dark was spicy. It was a pretty spicy show. We had some spicy times. We had some spicy times. Yeah, we will have better days in time. I believe that too, Alan. I really do. I really do think the best is yet to come in regards to this. I really do. I really do believe that. It's just the patience game, right? Diamond Hands Freddy says, we've got this, folks. The Christmas rug pull is in full effect. What do you mean the Christmas rug pull? Yes. So this is pretty massive. Let's see if there have been any more updates here. That was his last tweet. Elon's been so vibrant lately. He's been just very, very sassy. He's been more expressive than he ever has been. He's been more trollish than he ever has been. Well, a lot of people attack you when you're in that position, you know? A lot of people love you, a lot of people attack you. It wasn't too long ago. It was only your voice on screen. That actually wasn't long ago at all. I think I've only been doing live on camera for maybe 3 months, 3.5 months. Maybe 4 months. Maybe 4 months now. I'd say maybe 4 months now. Tops, though. Tops. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that I graduated from audio only. I remember when I first started going live on camera, people were shocked, like, whoa, that's what Steve Steele looks like. This is crazy. There was like an adjustment period for a couple of weeks where people were really shocked to see my mug on the screen. Because you develop a relationship with just the voice for so long, and then when you see the actual physical person behind that voice, there's always an adjustment period. I hope I didn't freak out too many people. I rug pulled Christmas to buy Doge. That's savage, man. Savage. Absolutely savage. Yeah, well, this is a nice way to do it, isn't it? This is a nice way to do it. This happens live while we're on the show. I kind of miss listening to you go live on Twitter back in that was a vibe, right? That was a vibe. That was after I parted ways with the previous channel that I was guesting on anyway. And then I had to learn how to live stream. I had to learn how to do all this stuff from scratch because I'm not terribly technologically savvy, honestly, guys. So in the interim, until I got the right equipment, I learned how to do all this from scratch. I would just do the show on, it was on Twitter live. It wasn't in a Spaces. I wonder if you can even still go Twitter live. Because that's before they had Spaces. Yeah, that was before they had Spaces. Good stuff, Maynard. What a way to cap things off, huh, guys? What a way to cap things off. This is definitely going to be news tomorrow, folks. This is definitely going to be news. I missed the opening song from the old show, Odd Couple. Yes, Jason, yes. I love that. And thank you for reminding me of that, because you know what I think I'm going to do? Because now that I'm doing some Twitter Spaces now, and I haven't hosted one in a couple weeks, but I think I'll host some Twitter Spaces and start the Spaces with the theme song. I miss that. One thing that's good about going live on Twitter is they're much more lenient with all the copyright stuff, where here I would never be able to get away with doing that on YouTube. I'd get strikes left and right. What happened to Nick? Haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, Nick's just taking a break from it all, man. He just wanted to step back. There's hardly anyone in the scene that does live streams almost every day, every night of the week. Hardly anyone that does that. And even as a co-host, that can be quite the commitment, So, yeah, Nick and I are still totally cool. We're good. Also, Nick is retired, you guys. He doesn't need to do any of this. I'm the pleb, and he's the millionaire. So he doesn't need to do any of this. So he's just taking a break, focusing on other things. But I think Nick will be back. Nick will be back in due time. But he just had to step away for a bit, and that's fine. We're holding it down. We're having a good time. Larry, congrats to Steve for coming this far. 100%. May you continue to grow. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's interesting because I started. I didn't start my own channel till after all the massive Doge buzz was gone. It had evaporated by the time I started my own channel. And what I mean by evaporate, I mean that comparatively. So there was a window where Doge went from like 2 cents to 8 cents. And it was bouncing around. And when you are invested in a coin at 2 cents or under, and all of a sudden you see it bounce around to 5, 6, 7, 8 cents. These are massive gains, right? A lot of money is being thrown around. A lot of money is being made. And it was all fresh and it was all new still, too. It was all new. So, due to that, anyone who had been covering Dogecoin during that window of time had massive audiences. I mean, massive audiences. And that's why, the biggest Doge-centric channels on YouTube have way more subscribers than I do, right? Because they're beneficiaries from that era. By the time I started going live and started doing my own channel, that had passed. So, unfortunately, I came in. But in fact, the role that I actually ended up playing, I think, continue to play as a Doge-centric content creator now, is keeping people engaged, keeping people encouraged. You know, it's easy to go live and cover something that has just through the roof interest and engagement, you know, where you got 1,000 people watching at a time, 2,000 people watching at a time at any given moment during those hype periods. But what happens after things calm down, right? What happens after things calms down? Well, who's left standing? Who's left standing? And then just my personality, I actually found myself being a crypto-centric content creator totally on accident. Totally on accident. And I didn't want to change myself. I got to be real to myself, and so that's why this channel and that's why this show, it's just a different vibe than anywhere else you'll see or come across in general crypto circles. I like just kind of handling it more like a fun talk show, you know? I consider myself just more of like a talk show host that happens to be into the stuff that I'm into, you know? And I also noticed that there really weren't any channels like that either when I first started too, so here we are. Here we are. Remember when 10 cents used to be the dream? I do remember, Kyle. I do remember. And thank you, Alan. Thank you for the kind words, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, so this Elon tweet is going bonkers. It's going bonkers. Good stuff. Good stuff. Great oldies. Crypto TV kind of took your spotlight away. You know, it's one of those things where there is almost a manic energy on that show. It was just an interesting moment in history, you know. It was a very fleeting, interesting moment in history. And it was one of those things where there was a time where Dogecoin was so many people were just like so engaged and so excited about Dogecoin at any moment in time that you could go live with Doge in your title at any time. And particularly on that channel that I used to go on. Anytime that channel went live and had Doge in the title, you would have a minimum of like bare minimum of like 500 to 600 people, but it would be up to like 3,500 people. It was wild. It was wild. It was a very short-lived thing, but it was just the audiences were just massive, and I think it was just kind of dumb luck happenstance, you know. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I remember most people that I was interacting with at the time have long moved beyond Dogecoin and don't really talk about it and not really into it anymore. And that's fine. That's fine. That's, you know, people can be into whatever they want. I invested in Doge back in January. The amount of profit I got off of 2K investment blew my mind in May. Ever since then, I've been addicted to those crypto world. Yeah, well, those kind of gains can do that to you. Those kind of gains can have that effect on you, can't they, Larry? Larry, I remember you from back in the beginning as well. Hey, Dylan McDougall, I haven't seen you in the mix for a bit, but good to see you, my Aussie friend. So this tweet from Elon, just to those of you who just joined us, Elon tweeted out a little more than 20 minutes ago. in response to Jack Dorsey and Billy Marcus. That's why I'm pro Doge. That's why I'm pro Doge from the Musk man himself. Would you guys buy a fragrance called Elon's Musk? Elon's Musk. What kind of man risks it all? That has everything to gain, yet nothing to lose, but everything to lose. What kind of fragrance spells rugged, renaissance, brilliance? Elon's Musk, now at Macy's. Good night. My wife is a lawyer, and I do appreciate you all. I can't read the next part, but thank you. Thank you, Keith. Take care of yourself. I understand. I understand. All right. All right. So, do an advert. I used to do those adverts a lot on the air. I kind of forgot about them. But I used to just kind of make up adverts and movie trailers while on my show. I remember when I first came on the scene, too, other kind of gatekeeper folks were like, who's this Steven Steele guy I think he is? Like, he doesn't do a ton of technical analysis, and he's just like, always just like goofing around and this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know. I thought it was funny. Do you think it'd be a bit musky? Larry Ramirez asks. Obvious but good. Obvious but good. Man, oh man. Boy, you guys are some night owls just like me. You guys are some night owls just like me. Do we have a new tweet from Billy Marcus? We do. Let's see what's going on with Billy. Billy's been burning the midnight oil on Twitter lately. And let's see what he's saying here. I, too, like dog money. So Billy Marcus now responding to Elon's sentiment. That's why I'm pro Doge. I, too, like dog money. I'm going to respond to that and say, Billy, how did you first... what would be a funny question to ask him? Maybe you should ask Billy, how long have you been into Dogecoin? I'll just say, how did you first hear about Dogecoin? That's what I'm going to say to him. He and I have a fun rapport. Good stuff. We have a lot of fun, don't we, folks? We have a lot of fun. No work for 2 weeks. I love staying up late. That's what's going on with 7-1. Johnny Crypto. Yep. I was just on that. It's just that Shidoshi lurking again. All right, guys. Going on about quarter to 2 a.m. here. I'm going to have myself some soup. I'm going to have myself some more tea. I'm going to kick back, peruse the Twitter space, and probably watch a movie and call it. The stapler, Rob Schneider is. Rob Schneider is the stapler. How about that? Okay, guys. Thank you so much for burning the midnight oil with me on this midnight mass. Love you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Yeah, it was a fun time. Anyway, I will be back on tomorrow night. Those of you who haven't signed up for WEBULL through my partnership link, consider doing it for one more day, only 1 day left, where you can take advantage of getting those five free stocks through the link pinned at the top of the chat. Until next time, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. Again, thank you guys all so much for your support. Hope you had fun. Hope you got something out of it. Until next time, this is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, signing out.
Just a piece of